Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. We are here at a place that you should go to. It is that good. It's been tremendous. We thank everybody for putting this together. Tavern and Cap in Clifton, New Jersey. Now, this is the final, I like this word. I've used this word a lot, final iteration of this show. So the Michael K. show is going to just be Michael K. It's going to be from 1 to 3. And it's going to lead into the new afternoon show. And the name of that show is going to be not the Michael K. show. So I still keep my name in it.
Right. And not Post K.
Not Post K, just not the Michael K. show.
Post-mortem K.
But
wait, I thought it was the show. Isn't that the famous line?
Yeah, that was the line from Don, but they decided not to roll with it. Anyway, so the show will go on with Don and Peter. And coming into the third man role, and it's going to be Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
Oh, yeah.
Is the very handsome, very tall Alan Hahn, everybody.
Let's go! First of all.
What is that, Big Nick energy?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what we call that, Alan?
And Shinesty underwear, everybody. Shinesty, let's go. We're selling it all, baby. We're selling it all.
You're getting a tone of what our future show is going to be.
I love it.
Very sales intensive.
We are selling underwear.
That's right.
I'm wearing it. I got to show it. Let's go.
It's nice. You got the nice ones. I just got solid.
Yeah, I didn't want to wear the eggplant one today. I thought that'd be probably off color.
Come on, man.
I'm glad you mentioned
You're not doing a show with Rick DiPietro anymore, okay?
Not anymore.
What?
This isn't a blue show.
What do you mean blue?
We don't work blue.
Well, actually, it's red. At least Don dressed up for the occasion.
So, you've been a fan of this show for a long time.
Yeah, I've been a P1 from almost the very beginning.
So,
yes.
what are your thoughts of working with these two? And we could talk off mic. But,
I hope we do.
What do you think? What's your biggest concern, and what are you most excited about?
Let's see. I'm most excited for the first time that I'm just saying something matter-of-factly, and then Don destroys the mic. Like, I'm waiting for the moment nobody sees it coming, and all of a sudden the rage builds, and then there's just the kettle explodes.
And the face will get redder.
Oh, no. The first time that I look and realize, like, oh, he's about to explode.
Get out of the way.
No, I can't wait for that because I've never really been able to experience that in studio. I've heard it on the air. I've seen it on Yes. Never have I been in the studio when it's happened. And that first time is going to be like, oh, this is epic. I'm going to love it.
Yeah, it could happen at any moment.
Yeah, listen.
It happened today.
I guess when you look at it all time, considering the amount of time Don and I have spent together, I'm in some ways the rant whisperer. So many Don epic meltdowns have come when him and I are doing a show together. Because the key is, if you just let Don go, eventually it just happens. You just got to let life be.
I think it's just a coincidence, but there's something too. Like, two of the biggest rants I've ever had, the Jose Reyes. There was no Michael. It was one of the first days Peter was on.
No. Sid Luckman is one of the.
Sid Luckman, Michael was there for.
Was it Matt Forte?
Matt Forte.
That was unbelievable.
And then Michael was responsible for that because he kept giving the guy chances. And I got really
How many chances you get?
How many chances you get? But the Jose Reyes and the no Michael K. Those two rants where Michael wasn't there. So I don't know. I think it's just a coincidence. But there were some big ones with Michael there. But listen, I've known this guy since the station started. When we first started the radio station way back in the day in September of 01, one of the first things Tim McCarthy did was he signed the Islanders. And we were the home of the New York Islanders. And we would do shows from Champions right across the parking lot.
Isn't that where Rick DiPietro blew you off a couple times?
Oh, yeah, a few times, for sure. While he was having dinner with Alan.
Wait, what happened in the parking?
Blew him off.
No, not in the parking lot.
Okay, sorry. This story's really complicated.
That was actually in the bathroom. So this is a funny side story to this, though. So they would do the post-game show, right? And it was Peter Schwartz.
Peter Schwartz.
Right. Would do the post-game show in Champions. This big table, this whole setup, all right. So I was a sports writer back then. I was a beat writer. And myself, Peter Body, a couple other beat writers, afterwards you'd always go over and have a beverage, just kind of unwind after a game. And so we go over there, but the kitchen closed, I believe, at like 11 o'clock.
Which killed Peter.
So you couldn't get there in time to get, once you were on deadline, no more food.
Right.
So we get there, and then there'd be this table. lavish table with just every appetizer on the menu. Anything you could possibly eat. All of it on the table.
During Don time.
I mean, this is seriously like a buffet table at a party. And we go over, like, oh, all right, there's something here, right? So the waitress would say, well, they've got all this food. Like, can we just get that they got it? Oh, no. That's for Don LaGreca. That's what she would say. And we're like, oh, Don LaGreca, excuse me.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, no.
And he wouldn't let you have any.
If you went over, it was like, slap you right on the hand. Right on the hand, unless you were a guest. Then you might get a wing.
Wow.
And we tried to get Rick as a guest, and Rick would blow us off.
Right.
Which I don't understand. Rick's one of the nicest people I've ever met. So I don't
but Alan would come on, and then you and Peter did the book.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was great.
That
So we
was
had to
awesome.
promote that. So I've known Alan for over 20 years, and I'm really looking forward to getting him in. He's a big Knick guy. We know that. But he's also a Yankee fan, loves hockey, loves baseball, big Yankee fan. So I'm really looking forward to
So
this
he
new
doesn't
endeavor.
have hockey below harness racing, right?
No.
Right.
What's your hold on? Your order of sports are basketball 1,
basketball, hockey, football,
then baseball.
But it used to be.
The Yankees are your biggest team.
Yankees are the only team I'm a fan of at this point in my life. That they remain a team that I root for as a fan because I don't have I only covered 2 things Yankee-wise in my life. I did cover more Mets stuff when I was a sports writer, but not much Yankee stuff. And it allowed me to not know how the sausage was made, right, on that end. And I allow myself to be a fan that way because I need one team that I could care about but not know enough about, where all the other teams that I was fans of growing up, I just know all the other stuff. Now, when I was growing up, it was baseball, hockey, basketball, football growing up. But as life develops, things start to change. So my interests are more hockey. My son plays hockey in college. It's a sport that I spend a lot of time focused on. My youngest daughter plays it as well. So it's really a sport that I'm into. And obviously basketball is the reason why I'm here.
Now, let me get your take on something with the Knicks, since you're here anyway. I watched that other game, the NBA Cup game.
Yep.
I was appalled by how poorly they played.
Second half.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like they didn't belong on the court. Their court with the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, third quarter was the worst quarter of the season.
I mean, just outworked, out-rebounded.
Yep.
And the thing that confused me about this team, there are times that they're playing, and I go, this team could win a championship.
Yep.
And then there are times that they played like that in the third quarter. I go, this team could get knocked out in the first round.
Right.
What's the team?
It's something in between. Now, I know that sounds like a cop-out answer, but it is because it's so early in the season. Tom Thibodeau teams spend the first quarter to 1/3 of the season figuring it out. Mm-hmm. What do we need? And who do I trust? Who can I play? They go through all that in the beginning, and the numbers tell you. By the last quarter of a regular season with Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks are playing their best basketball. They have the best record. That's .635 winning percentage in the last 20 games of the season in his Knick tenure. That's incredible because they're just over 500 in the first quarter. So he does that. So that's the one thing you got to keep in mind is there's always that feeling out of period, especially when you have 2 new starters. They don't have a deep bench right now. They finally got one guy back in Precious Achiuwa who can help them. They really need Mitchell Robinson, and teams that play the way the Hawks play, they hit high, hard screens, a ton of rolling and cutting, and a lot of tall athletes. That affects the Knicks. They have a hard time with guys that are like 6'9", 6'10", pogo stick type guys. And that third quarter, the reason why that game went the way that it went, we all focus on they can't stop them. The defense is terrible. They missed 13 straight threes.
Yeah.
You can't win if you miss 13 straight threes. They are the second best three-point shooting team in the NBA. So when they don't have that weapon, they're an ordinary team, and it showed in that third quarter. If they made a couple of threes, that's a closer game, and the fourth quarter is now up for grabs. But that didn't happen.
No matter how you feel about the in-season tournament, and I know there's a lot of Knicks fans that didn't care, some really did care. But what I thought it was an opportunity to make something of a regular season game. Make it big. I know you're not going to be able to prove yourself till you get to the postseason.
Right.
But was I wrong to think that this was an opportunity on Wednesday to play in a big game? Give us a little bit of an appetizer of what's to come. Or am I making too big a deal out of it? Was it, in essence, not something that big?
Tom Thibodeau said this is great for the fans.
Well, there you go. That's the answer.
That's one answer. The other one is Josh Hart. I want to buy a new watch. $500,000, I can buy a new watch, right? Like you hear that, None of them said anything about proving ourselves, winning something so we can be proud. These guys know what this is about. It is a fan-driven thing. And not that they weren't trying to win. They, of course, were trying to win.
Right.
But I also will say, just looking at it from an aerial view, I look at this right now and say they were better off losing because they were already showing signs of fatigue and like looking a little busted. They needed a couple of practices to kind of get recalibrated on defense. They are playing one game now in 7 days versus flying today to Vegas to do a whole media thing. Or they actually would have flew yesterday. A whole media thing, coverage, all the stuff they got to do. Play this intense game on Saturday. If you win, you play Tuesday. And if you, after that game, you fly right to Minnesota for a 2-game road trip. Like, there's no break. There's no nothing. This, take a breath, play one game in 7 days, have a couple of practices, reset yourself, and go. So while nobody likes to see them lose, there is a little bit of a silver lining in, like, you know what, though, this might be the better thing. I don't think the players looked at it like you're looking at it or like a lot of other people thought.
I bet if they won.
Show something. The Lakers won it last year. What did they do in the playoffs?
No, I get it. I just thought it was an opportunity to kind of do something. But here's what it's
nothing matters until, just like the Yankees. Nothing matters till we get to October. Nothing for the Knicks matters till we get to April.
Yeah, but if they had won, they would have spun it in a nice way. Like, that was cool.
Yeah.
But if you lose, you go, hey, we get a break.
But this is where it backfires, Peter. Did you see LeBron's not playing now because he's resting after playing all those games in the in-season tournament? So the fans end up getting the load management anyway.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see over a few years whether this actually becomes a, quote, fan thing. Because I'm yet to actually meet a fan who cares.
Now, speaking of a fan, we're going to be joined right now, and Alan's going to hang with us, the great Scott Van Pelt, who was always with us on Monday before Monday Night Football.
That's
but
right.
Scott really reached out to Anthony Pusick and said, I really want to, just come on the show for a little bit. And Scott joins us now over the phone. Hey, Scott, how you doing?
I'm really good. And I'm this is complete sincerity here. Yeah, I thank Anthony for just giving me a little runway here to tell you guys from afar what a fan I am and how cool it's been to be part of it. And I just want to tell you guys, I hope you give yourself a little time to think about what a special run it is, man. New York's as good a town as there is in the world. It's got as great as sports fans, great history with the franchises. And the relationship you have on radio is unlike anything else. You guys all know this. And so I just want to salute, hat tip, stick tap, however you want to call it, the run you've had. It's not like anyone's dying. It's just going to be a different thing that people are doing moving forward. But it's rare, man. It's really rare what you guys have been able to do. It's special. And I just wanted to make sure I got a chance to say that to you and your audience, just what a treat it's been to be on with you and how much appreciation and respect I have for what you guys have done.
That means a lot coming from you, man.
Thank you so much. Now, I don't know if you realize this, Scott, but I mean, I always wonder, what would it be like to watch my wife flirting with another man in front of me?
So I'm curious about where this is going.
Because what happened was, I think it was at a Super Bowl, and Scott was sitting with us talking, and our PD was there, and Don's with me as well, and the PD kept saying, you know what, Scott, Michael, that you guys would be a great radio show together, as if Don wasn't even there.
Sitting right there.
So the 22 years might not have ever happened if somebody pulled the trigger, Scott.
Well, listen, sometimes the best deals that you make are the ones you don't make. So, listen, not for nothing. I think I told you this privately, man. It would have been a blast to sit with you and chop up whatever. But I'd say that things worked out way better for you the way they went, and they've gone all right for me as well. So, a little flirtation, whatever. Just makes you appreciate even more what you got, right?
And not so much for the guy that suggested it, so it's all good.
Oh, I love it.
Wow.
And by the way, you guys, to be honest, you put Michael and SVP together. That is a freakishly tall radio show. I just don't think you can do it.
I think you can do it, and we could beat anybody.
Let me be honest.
Too.
Let's be honest. The eccentricities and oddities of that duo, like I don't know, like what kind of shelf life are you really talking about? Honestly, with that, like probably not a really long shelf life with that. Very, very strange duo, the two of us. I'll be honest.
But while we were on the shelf, it would have been fun. I'll tell you that. But we appreciate you wanting to call in, and you've always been great with us. I know Mondays must be just a bear for you, and you make time to carve out and give us some insight on the weekend in football and the upcoming Monday night game. So we love you, and we thank you for calling in.
Likewise, guys. Enjoy the holidays and continued success in all things. Good health, most importantly. But salute to all of you, man. Thanks so much for letting me be part of it.
Well, thank you.
Scott, thank you, man.
Merry Christmas.
Make some noise for Scott Van Pelt, the legend, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not nobody.
Not nobody.
Now,
That was, yeah.
He's on Mount Rush.
You might be a little. I don't know if you'll get the analogy of when Fred Flintstone would shrink.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That's what happened to me that day. It was so, Alan. It was so bad.
Alan, do you know the rules of engagement on the show? I mean, the numbers and everything? Don gets to talk 70% of the time.
Please. Again.
And if it doesn't happen, you
listen to the show. Is that true?
I have been a P1. As you know, I've had shows that were after yours, so I listened to it driving in. Mm-hmm. My shows before yours, I would listen to it going home. You guys all know I text each one of you separately, different things that I find interesting or want to get a good line in. And every now and then I'll just bum rush and call in and say, I got to get on the air, as you guys know. So I know this show almost better than I know my own shows sometimes. That is not true. Don, my goal here is to make Don LaGreca the biggest star in sports talk radio in New York. That's my goal. My goal is to take him from a guy who has been like 6th man of the year, a great role player, right? The guy that everybody just loves. And then this is his time now. This is his team now. And it's the ability to say, you run this thing. You take it now with all the experience you have. And my job is John Stockton. My job is Dwayne Wade to throw it up and let LeBron dunk that down. That's my job.
You know what, Peter, is interesting? So Don was the 6th man.
Wait, Don's taking it in.
One of those rare 6 men that shot 40 times a game.
Why you to the end? To the end.
Well, also
40 shots off the bench.
well, by the way, I don't have to be Bosch in the scenario you just set up, do I?
What's wrong with Bosch? He got paid.
I'm not a Bosch guy.
He got paid though.
No, I'd like to find.
You want to be Ray Allen?
Yeah, I take
you
Ray.
You make the big shot when it matters.
Yeah, the big shot.
You had the shot against the Spurs.
I'll take Ray.
Right.
By the way, who is the comp though? As Alan was setting that up,
right?
Calling Don like the 6th man who then gets the team,
right?
What would be the best sports comp?
John Havlicek.
But here's how I envision it.
Yeah, that's a really.
Here's how I envision. Because you're a hockey guy.
Yeah, let's go.
Gretzky.
It's Messier.
Leaves to L.A. Right. Michael leaves 1-3, which is L.A. Jace.
Right. Yeah.
And what did Messier do the next 2 years later?
Won the cup.
Bang, wins the cup.
Without him.
And that one, it drives Wayne crazy. He's got 2 other rings besides the ones that he had with Wayne. But that one, right, with Bill Ranford, winning that cup in Edmonton, that's what I'm hoping this is going to be. The cup after Gretzky.
Now, did Gretzky root for the Oilers when they were in the finals? Because we have heard Michael say on the air, we're on record.
No, we know.
And like I said, I'm a P1.
You know.
So I heard this, and I got to admit, when I heard it, it hurt a little. I felt it. Is that I will root against you.
But wait a minute.
I heard those words.
But wait a
I'm
minute.
telling you, driving in the car, knowing what I knew, I was like,
it hurt you.
But wait a minute.
Like, wow.
There's a caveat to that, Alan. First of all, you know I love you.
For you to lose.
I said that if I ever got let go, I don't care if it's Don and Peter. I want them to fail miserably. This is an amicable parting. I'm on another time slot.
Okay.
I want you guys to do great.
Okay, as long as that part is still.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, so then you would be then still part of like rooting for the success.
Oh, yes.
And also
and
thinking about where you end, your show ends. It's very important. You know, the lead-in thing, they always tell us about how big the lead-in. I've been the lead-in guy forever. I've always been the fluffer.
But
this is what I've been.
Yeah,
I've had to be that guy.
The tweaker.
Set up the K-show.
It's getting
Set
worse.
them up.
But you know what? This is where this show is going to have an advantage. I'm going to tell you. And I don't want you to be hurt.
What's that?
You'll finally have a good lead-in.
Yeah. And the one thing that's going to happen, mark my words, Peter, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. If we ever do become a massive hit, they'll interview Michael about it. If, God forbid, one of us dies,
well, I can promise you
they'll interview Michael about it.
Here's what's going to happen. So I wrote at Newsday for about 15 years, right? I'm a Long Island guy. I got the paper as a kid. I learned how to read. Reading the Newsday headlines, that's a fact.
And very
as
telling.
a child. Yeah, that's a fair point. Somehow got through college. But one thing I do know is that when Neil Best is ready to write the feature on the Long Island kid who finally made it, All the quotes will be Michael K.
Oh, yeah.
He won't get them from me.
Yeah, but Michael won't give them.
Michael K's old show.
That's
That's
one
number
thing you
one.
know.
Actually, I know who he'll call, the other Long Island guy.
Right.
But that is a great question.
Right.
If we reach the highest heights ever imaginable, that is a great point. Will there be more articles about the success we've reached, or how does Michael K feel about the success they've reached after he left? It could happen.
Right.
I mean, if you read the articles that have come out since about what's happening, it reads like the subject could be
like it's over.
Just the future of Michael K.
Yeah.
And then there's like little other characters, like Michael, Don, and Alan are like commas in the article. We're not actual subjects. So if we make it to the top, the article has to be, how does K feel?
Or God forbid our plane goes down on the way to the Super Bowls. Michael K's former show dies in plane crash.
Kay, of course, was calling a doubleheader against the Marlins.
And couldn't be reached for comment.
I do want to add one other thing, though, Michael. And again, all the joking and kidding aside and everything like this, many times that Michael has texted me encouragement about different things throughout my career. At times, as a lot of you know, I stepped away from Hahn and Humpty at one point because there was just too much going on in my life and I couldn't keep up. Rick is a dynamo, and it was impossible for me, and I did not feel the show was going in the right direction. Dave and he have taken that to an unbelievable place where it's, a great morning show and a must listen. I know everybody here does listen to, right? DPHN Rothenberg, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, of course, right? So through all of that stuff, it is something that I'll never forget. The first time I ever appeared on this show. And I was a Knicks beat writer. It probably was whatever it was, 06. And I came on the show as a guest to talk Knicks. No idea what we were talking about. 06, it was probably bad because they weren't very good then. But I was so nervous to come on the show. Like literally, I went in my garage because I had young kids then, didn't want anybody to make noise, I wanted it to be perfect, sound great. I don't want to ruin this moment. I want to be asked back on the show again. So I went into the garage to make sure it was quiet, and I was pacing and nervous throughout the entire, I don't know what you guys asked me, but it was like hanging up and going like, I was just on the Michael K show. Like, that was awesome. It was a big deal to me.
Really?
Yeah, it was, and I'll never forget it. And so from there, 6 years later, being on the station, meeting you guys, getting to know you all personally. Like, obviously I knew you, Don, but I mean, really getting to know you all. So for me, the fact that I'm sitting in your chair at one point soon, that's a big deal to me. Like, that's not something that I'm taking lightly. That's not something I'm just, I expected this, I deserve this. I'm not acting like that at all. And I'm being sincere. Like, it does mean a lot to me that I'm the one that gets to step into those shoes.
Well, you're going to be great. You really are. There's no doubt in my mind. And I also know that in that same garage, you had the Playboys, so you probably relaxed
It's an
after
important
that.
garage.
Yeah, it's a very important thing.
Leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave it right there.
Alan, we'll see you on Monday.
Monday.
Yes.
That's what we call a
3 o'clock.
soft open.
It's the soft launch on Monday.
I don't like soft. Soft, we can't.
No.
We're doing nothing soft around here.
Listen, sometimes you got to go soft to save it for the real thing. You know what I mean?
Wow, interesting.
You want to call it the dry run?
I just feel like
He doesn't like that either.
Dry run is never good.
Yeah, how many kids you got again, Alan?
I got 4.
Yeah, he's not big on the dry run.
Better than no run.
Dry run, no good. No.
3 o'clock Monday.
Next
How about
week,
a sneak peek?
Next. That's one. We could do that.
That's
a
what
little
you-
tease. Just the tip.
Good luck, my friend.
You get the dry
Thank you
run
so
because
much,
they don't
guys.
give you a sneak peek.
That's the new show, everybody. You can tune in at 3 o'clock starting on Monday. It's called Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
Can't wait.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Alan,
Good to
see
see
you
you, Alan.
Monday, buddy.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
man.
ENN is next, baby.
And Don has something to tell us first.
Don LeGreg here to tell you about my friends.